Hello and good evening. My name is John. We're here playing Cyber City 2157 as part of my Steam cleaning series, where I go through every game in my Steam library, eventually, then arbitrarily rate and or review them after a wee bit of playtime. Now, the full title of this game is Cyber City 2157: The Visual Novel. So, despite knowing nothing about this game, I think it's a visual novel. We're gonna hit New Game and find out together. Insert the first cassette. Boop. The voice in my head. Where are we? The voice from inside me. Who are we? Voice in my head. Look around. What do you see? Voice from inside me. There is a spaceport in the middle of the desert, nothing else for many kilometers around, except for maybe a few tumbleweeds. I don't hear any sound. It's perfect stillness in the desert, but it gives me no clue what's happening around. I see a rocket ready for launch, and it seems like there isn't much time before the start. How did we get here? I don't remember. Does it matter now? Just writing. Oof. Oh. Voices and launch time. Everybody get ready. We have liftoff. Who are these people? They sound like they're near us. Can you see them? No, I think they're in this building, which is on the end of the desert. 3, 2. Alright, just different sound effects. 3, 2, 1. Start of the lifting engine. You mean liftoff? What a sound! It was deafening. It would not be funny to lose my hearing. Can you warn me next time, moron? I thought it'd be funny to scare you a little. Don't be angry. Instead, listen to what I am going to tell you. Come on. But don't think that I'll forgive you so easily. Rocket is rising and leaving clouds of dust, covering the whole desert with it. Whoops, dust has covered my eyesight. The first stage is successful. We're gaining altitude. Every member of the team should focus. The rocket is accelerating. It's tearing the clouds. Amazingly. How can this heavy thing fly? It's not just a heavy pile of metal, it's high-tech innovation. If you were wiser, perhaps, you could understand. Hey, I'm not very smart, but I'm not as boring as you are. Oh, the image starts to fade, replaced by another one. New picture appears. Are they commentating on what the game is doing? The ship enters the Earth orbit. We are so high. Ain't that the truth? The wonderful sight of our old planet. What a pity you can't see it. Sometimes you are so annoying, but I need to get along with it for a while. Although... Oh, why are you so serious? It hurts me. You are so angry, my elder brother. Orbital injection has been successful. Stabilization of the ship has completed. Ready for the general mission. Do you hear us, team? Cosmonaut. Yes, Centaur. There is a small signal lag, but I hear you. Ready to dispatch the general mission. Something's wrong. Antennas are not deployed. Stop. How do you know that? You cannot see it without me. I just know that, but I won't tell you how. Your behavior is too bad, younger brother. Centaur, we have a problem. The antenna has not opened. We tried to run from them from the backup unit, but it was unsuccessful. Voices in the launch center. Darn it! Wait a bit. We'll look into the indicators on our screens. So the voices here are like the computer or the spaceship? There's something strange in the antenna, something like a shadow. It's over. It's disappeared. All indicators in the ship system are normal. You need to get out and inspect the ship. There's no other way to solve this problem. The system calculates the test probability for the solution at 87 out of 100. Affirmative. I'm moving out. The hatch opens. The figure of an astronaut, tiny compared to the ship, and invisible, contrasting with the Earth, has fallen from it. Fallen? How symbolic it is. I'm shivering. Don't shiver. I'm shivering with you, in case you forgot. Egress has been perfect. There were no problems. I'm moving to the antennas. The figure starts moving, clinging to the protrusion of the spacecraft's skin like a little space monkey. Okay. How cute and stupid can you be at the same time? Little space monkey. I've reached the antennas. Starting inspection. You shouldn't be here. Go away. Run before it's too late. Centaur, I hear voices. Something is wrong over here. I will continue to dispatch the mission. Check the equipment. Repeat, I can't hear you. Shh. What an unpleasant voice. It doesn't forecast anything good. Has he disobeyed him? Yes, I don't understand where did the voice come from? There is no one around us, only space. Centaur, alert, my hands are sliding. I'm losing contact with the ship. I can't hold it. It's as if the wind blows here, but absolutely impossible. What the hell is going on here? Can you hear me, Centaur? I've lost contact with the ship. Why didn't you listen to us? Why didn't you listen to us? Why didn't you listen to us? The figure of an astronaut starts to move away. like a blown plastic bag. Poor space monkey. Why does it always happen? The elder brother. These are another voices. They are not from here. These people don't understand what they are dealing with. Why is this Cyber City? Maybe you should stop talking in riddles, nerdy. Akira, get in touch. According to our data, you are drawn away from the ship. My hands. I fly away from the ship. Monkey is very sad and scared. What a pity. Heck. Akira voices on heck. Here, get a hold of yourself. We'll think of something. While they are thinking, the form is moving further with the ship, surrounded only by silence. Shush, I hear a rattle of metal. Center, antennas. Antennas open. I did it. That's correct. Antennas begin to open. Remember how we were looking at the moon? Everything is over. Goodbye, younger brother. Stay well, old man. Lane time you? Is that the cold open? Arboturba presents Cyber City 2157. Am I awake now? What a strange dream I've seen today. Everything was so real, as if I'd seen it all with my own eyes. And what was the name of this cosmonaut? Monkey? Sometimes we can really see funny things in our dreams, or scary things. Antennas. Why did they deploy the antennas? I should understand the logic of my dreams. And all those scenes. They are so familiar. Where could I have seen all this? Okay, it's time to get out of bed. Cyber chair. My day begins pretty early. I check the mail on the side to continue to sleep or go to work. I usually work by remote contracts when the last client was in my own town. I haven't been told the name of the company, and all their activities are a mystery for me. My goal is to create a replica of the director's wife for the holographic interface. It's fast and clean work. They don't want to fully deal with me by email. This makes my work more complicated. Their reluctance can be compared only with my reluctance to leave the home. But I really need the money, and there was no other work on the horizon. I didn't want to go back to the office. Colleagues, constant communication, bosses. These things scare me, but more than a problem with the money. Although, who am I fooling? Now that I work the same way, I cling with the last bit of strength to the image of a free man. I have even remembered the names of my colleagues. I should stop thinking about it, not to feel disgusted with myself. System activate the postal service. The screen begins to move. Waves of the screen begin to shaping like something of an inch. Should this be narrator? No, they talk to each other. The screen is old, and I prefer to use the voice interface. You have 2 new messages. Open them. Irony. The person who doesn't have holographic molds can't employ the system for reproducing them. I must be reading a letter. Open and read them aloud. Message first from Asker. Dear Cosmo Boy, we inform you that today is necessary to come to our office according to contract. We wait for the usual time. Your customer received 20 minutes ago. Customer executes all terms of contract is perfect. Go to the next message. Second message from ISM. Remember how we looked at the moon? Received 1 minute ago. International Space Mission? What nonsense. But these words sound familiar, as if I heard them recently. Postal information, give me more information. Postal service, give me more information about the sender. This sender normally sends messages from within the system. I don't understand. Reference, explain in detail. Internal system message. The message is on an external sender. It must be sent with the device you are using at the moment. That message contains an error code, then move it to the help talk corresponding to this error. If the message contains text, possibly your system has undergone an external invasion. The end of reference. Remember how we looked at the moon? I heard those words in my dream. An unusual coincidence. But how is this possible that someone could break into my system and only leave such an incomprehensible message? Maybe some kind of code or another message will be sent with more information. Hackers may be planning something bad. It can cause me trouble. Postal service, freeze the activation with the second. Freeze the action with the second. Error, the message of this number isn't detected. You only have 1 message from the sender. Self-destructive message. These things are getting more and more interesting, but I've already got ready for work. I can't be late or I'll get a fine. Be a fine for going to work late? I have to call customer service this evening. I hope they can explain something to me about my old system. Postal service, report about the weather on the street and turn off. Temperature outside is plus 15 degrees, sun is in a blue sector, have a nice day. The sun turns off and stops emitting a hum. Yes, the morning starts quite strange. A bit of leftovers from the refrigerator for breakfast would be enough, then I can go. Every day goes that way since I started working with this company. In the morning, this feeling of infinite repetition and individual actions looks absolutely crisp. The brain just woke up and is full of energy for these actions. And the brain starts to make plans for the day. Wake up. Stay in bed. Have breakfast. Take a shower. Remember it's time to go to work. Choose clothes for today. Leave the house. Every day, the pink light of the sun in the east covers the city and wakes the inhabitants. People wake up and move to work like ants. They are ants like me. I'm driven by my needs to the places where I meet the needs of other people. Mold's industry emerged just a few years ago when the power of the systems becomes sufficient for processing. At first, the molds were a service for the rich and big companies, but gradually began to be used in homes of ordinary people. Standard molds are not expensive, but they require a fairly powerful system. Personal molds are difficult to manufacture. The sun never sets, it just changes colors from one to another and attaches the entire life of the city to those colors. Blue sector, it's time to awake. Pink sector, it's time to go to work. It's time to listen to people's conversation on the way to work. Time to look into the sky. Time to relax. What? When you create the mold, you need to collect all the data about the object, the voice, behavior, and movement. The most important thing is to create AI, which should be able to fully simulate a human and hide all his disadvantages. Speech defects, problems in appearance, cantankerous character. All this must be removed. Necessary to add everything the customer finds indispensable and may improve appearance or modify tone of voice. It should be the perfect copy, which is much better than the original. Then it's not a copy, it's a version. One color of the sun is replaced by another. Checkpoint passed. I have seen this stock photo recently. This is a stock photo that they have blurred here, but I've seen this exact image very recently. That's kind of weird. Time to reach the workplace. Time to work. Time to produce work. Time to talk with colleagues. They already think I'm equal with them. They gossip about the boss, talk about their families, they share with each other their successes and failures. Today, they especially talk about the news that they saw on the TV yesterday. It was a launch into orbit of a research ship. Objectives of the research are not specified. But after conversations, I understand the company is directly related to these studies. I want to know the details of their participation when the workers stopped talking and changed to another topic when I approached them. I think they didn't accept me fully as a colleague and they don't want to violate company policy. And it goes that way in every company where I've worked. Nowhere... That was one word, right? Nowhere did I really fit in with the team. I left. As soon as my project ended, sometimes former colleagues wanted contact with me, even called. I did not answer them. I don't know why. My need for communication was minimal. The only thing I was able to hear from the discussions is something connected with Frost, but it doesn't help me get the full information. To get off at the break. To spend a break. To think about spending an evening. To feel that today the sun is moving more slowly than usual. To get back to the workplace. To entertain myself with food. To entertain myself with food. To participate in the meeting. That's a Vi or Vivo. That's a... To talk with the customers. So they just took photos and then blurred them a little bit or processed them, posterized them or something. The bulk of this work has been done already. The artificial intelligence, the prototype of the outer shell has been made. The desire of the customer was unusual. He did not want to change anything in the original object. He wanted a full copy of his wife. He wanted a copy without the basic ideal inherits to molds, the purpose of which it is necessary. He has not clarified by what to stipulate in the contract. We arranged a meeting with his wife tomorrow and I'll start creating and digitizing of her image. It will not be an easy task because the customer needs an exact copy. It will not be possible to work on a flaw for improvement of the original object as I usually did it. Anyway, the work is coming to an end. The task will not take much time. To dream about the end of the day. To stop working. To watch my colleagues leave their jobs. To say goodbye and wish good evening to every one of them. Am I a mold? Am I a robot? Am I a replicant? This is not really looking like a cyber city. To wait until the roads are free, so as not to sit meaninglessly in a traffic jam. To dream. People say outside the city there are times when there's no sun in the sky. Everything becomes dark, as in the room with the closed door. But the sky does not remain empty. There's another circle in the sky. It's called the moon. In books I've read, it looks like a circle. While it is in the sky, it radiates the same light. I don't have anyone I can confirm or deny this statement. Those who are lucky enough to go outside the city don't have opportunity to disclose what they have seen. Or maybe I don't know anyone who's been there. It was so intrigued with this topic, I found some old non-digital books devoted to the issue. Covers of books don't coincide with their contents. I get a feeling they've been protected from somebody. Likely it was connected with the cleaning of the sources information held in the paper books. From these books I learned there was something like the night. Oops. Back. But it was before the incident. These keywords don't highlight, so I don't know what they mean. The concept of the night was not described, so I've included that. It was absolutely common with no need to explain. There was no explanation of what the incident is. There was very little information in the books, besides the fact that chronologically it dates back to the early. Both terms are not used even once in the digital books. That is true. I've created a modification to the system which checked each of the books. By the way, it is time to go home. To close the room. To go down the stairs. To say goodbye to security. To go outside. To decide how to spend the evening. I have a choice! To go for a walk. Is this Yakhabra? As I started carrying out in this order, I love spending evenings in aimless wandering around the city. Before, I did not even think that it could be so fun. The fresh evening air, there are crowds of people rushing home after work, street idlers like me on the streets. They are lost and bewildered over how the city has changed. After a long time spent in four walls in my apartment, I stopped to recognize these streets. There were small changes in my quarter, but if you walk a couple of blocks to the side, you will have been caught in a very strange place, filled with new houses and people you haven't seen before. It never ceases to amaze me. I often spend my evenings walking through the streets, and every time I find something new and lose something old. That's a nice statement. Views I've never seen can appear suddenly from the odd old corner, a street with a dead end turned into multi-lane roads surrounded by skyscrapers. During these walks, I feel like a tourist visiting an unknown city and exploring with pleasure. I can't find the places which I can tie with my memory. There are no buildings where I've been, there are no companies where I've worked, and I can't meet the people I know. There are no traces that can explain what happened with all of them. Maybe they moved through their life, like ghosts leaving no trace. Okay. They're also looking for me. I can't find any clues. They try to come into my house, but they see another high-rise, high-speed highway in the place where my house used to be. They call me at home, and instead of answering here, the number does not exist. Maybe I moved through life like a ghost leaving a trace. What's easy to answer these questions in the constantly changed city? People I speak with about this don't know the answer, and then they disappear. Then I began to ask myself these questions. Started not long before I switched to freelancing. So who am I fooling? I just left work and started sitting at home trying to answer these questions, at least for myself. I read everything I could find in the system. I tried to find some evidence that I was not losing my mind. What information could I find? Disappeared after some time. There's only two alternatives. I went crazy or the city changes faster and faster. Discovery stunned me. I was laying in bed and staring at the ceiling, expecting to figure out the moment when the city has changed. I expected the color of the sun didn't hide the moment of the change. I closed all the windows in the flat. When I moved away to eat or use a toilet, the system used a camera recorded a ceiling on the video in order to capture the transformation of the ceiling into something else. Change in pattern, color, or something may indicate changes. The days passed, then the weeks, months followed by weeks. The ceiling hasn't changed, but my money was coming to an end. I was in despair. Of course, I knew I behaved like a madman, but I didn't want to go completely mad, so I turned on the broadcast news or something while watching the ceiling. Perhaps the remnants of reason had not left me. One night I listened to the broadcast, the latest news, and they made the first mention of the technology of molds. I even remember how blatant advertising sounded in the news broadcast. This is your news broadcast? Freeze yourself in this endlessly and rapidly changing reality. Book a mold of yourself and members of your family should never lose each other, and even make each other a little better. It was like a punch to the head. It seemed like the speaker gave me a wink. There wasn't a coincidence. I was sure my mind was inflamed by having observed the ceiling for a few minutes. Okay, so we just lied on bed? I jumped out of bed. I felt an acute pain in the whole body from lying motionless for a long time. I rushed to my desk on staggering legs. The system helped me to search through all the information on the subject. There was little part of information at that time. The industry was just beginning its emergence, but the interest of the technology between users was like a tsunami. I realized one thing. I'm going to do it. The second little thing, apparently I'm not crazy. If at the first mention of molds I was so interested in them, the other people would feel the same. After all, the mold is evidence the person was a basic mold was real sometime. After all, the mold is an attempt to make something permanent besides the ceiling above the bed. These words of the speaker were a response to the questions that led me to this condition. I became a person lying in bed staring at the ceiling. No matter how silly it sounds, these words became a turning point in my life. I began to work a lot, started to construct simple molds that could answer only the questions that were given before. I moved farther and farther away. I started to get the first orders and everything to buy a simple meal. I had had a great success, but it was enough for a living. I did not tell anyone about my past life and cut off all questions with a special point in the contract. Also, I did not tell anyone about the changes I've seen around myself. I still was not sure that I wasn't crazy, and if it was true, staying without a job and food went on for a mental state. Molds called me. They are immutable like the sun. What a great proof of existence they may be, if not consistency of this existence. The sun never changes except color, as they mentioned earlier, and I have no doubt that it exists there. It also conducts a silent countdown of variable colors. It doesn't ever go straight. It changes colors the second punctuality, day after day, year after year. As long as I remember, it has never violated its regulation. Back to the present after this excursion into the history of my mind. Alright, you walk around the city, different routes. Some became the color of coffee with milk. Time to go to bed. Winding trees. Alright. A couple of trees, it's a park. I've seen this image before. Alright. This, I don't know. I mean, this is obviously Cyber City 2157. It struggles a lot with the language. The story is tough to attach to. I've had one choice so far, which is nice. I like choices. But overall, it's all over the place in terms of tone and plot points. And the writing being disjointed doesn't help. So, at the end, I wouldn't recommend this as a visual novel to try. Plus, the visuals don't, due to the fact that they've used stock photos and blurred them out so much, the visuals aren't detailed enough to draw the eye. Like, there's nothing to see because it's so blurry. It just kind of gives a hint of what they're going for and doesn't really like impress enough mood or setting to stick. So there you go, Cyber City. Let's be sure. Cyber City 2157, the visual novel. Cheers.